Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you can hear me okay, and I hope you can see me okay. I haven't had the best of luck with the technology, and last week, apologies if you were here and you saw the catastrophe, the technological catastrophe. Hi, Evelina. Okay, good. You can hear and see me okay. Last week was an interesting exercise in patience, resilience, problem solving, and staying present. Hi, Lorna. I hope you've had a good week too. So good to see you here. Thank you to those of you who did stand by last week and joined me over on the other platform. I did still do the live doodling session. I just was not able to do it here on Insight Timer. So the technology was not terribly happy with me. Please let me know if everything is okay. I'm seeing that the signal keeps dropping a little bit, so I'm hoping that that doesn't cause more issues. Okay, we are back to good, I think. It seems to be coming and going. Hopefully all is well. So please let me know. Okay, good, Lorna, thank you. So hopefully you can hear some piano playing in the background as well, because this is a sensory activity, so it's important that you can hear the music, but that it is not overwhelming. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm trying a new mic setup today, and at the very least you can see, so that we can do our doodling session. Hi CJ! Yay, looking forward to this session too. I really did feel a little bit discombobulated last week, so let me know how your week has been. Enough about me, how about you? How has your week been? And how are you feeling today? In fact, in the comments, give me let's do a temperature check of how you're actually feeling right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, let us just gauge where you're at. Are you a 10, an absolute fantastic, or are you a 1? Feeling not so great, or somewhere in between? So let me know how you are feeling right now, and wherever you are, my intention with this session is that we can elevate that number in the direction of a 10 or beyond. That's what these practices are for. Evelina, oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad that you got the handouts and you got the video instructions. I'm so glad that you're finding that useful. If you are new here, very, very welcome. Thank you for joining. My name is Abigail, and I do these weekly doodling sessions specifically on a Friday to kind of end off the week, to create a weekly mindfulness practice, to kind of demarcate the week that has been and the week that is coming. And and it is just a great practice to put into place, even on your own, even if you just do it for 10 minutes. It is a way of focusing the mind. It is a form of active meditation where you are concentrating on the doodle. You're kind of cutting off senses to outside noise. You are allowing your brain just to relax and to unwind and to unravel. You know, when you're trying to untie a knot, the tighter you pull, the tighter the knot gets. That's kind of how we get in our day-to-day lives. And so the doodling is intended to loosen the threads of that knot so that you can then weave them more gently and then untie the knots. So that's why we do these practices. And as Evelina referred to, there are resources available for you to do this practice on your own, so you don't have to wait for these live sessions. Of course, I love that you do show up regularly, and I love seeing the familiar faces every week, and it makes it feel like we're growing a little doodle community here. But of course, this is your journey, this is your experience, this is your practice. And so I've made some resources available for you to be able to do that on your own. So all the links are in my teacher profile. You can go and check that out and start building this practice. So hi Barbara, good to see you. You're a 7 and it's your first time here. Well, you're so welcome and I'm so grateful that you're joining us. We do all, and that's what's so beautiful about these live sessions, is that all of us contribute to the session. All of us are here feeding off of each other. You know, we might not be in the same physical space, but we're experiencing the same moment together. And so it's a co-creation. And that is what is so beautiful. So I am so grateful for you, Barbara, having a 7. That is a great score. So let me know in the comments, anybody else who feels called to share where you're at, just taking your internal kind of temperature. Where are you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, on a scale of 1 to 10, just for the week. Like, let's have a container of the reflecting on the past week. And I think I'm probably also at a 7, Barbara. So some high vibes, and high vibes are contagious. And so that is again what we intend with these doodle sessions, to send out those contagious high vibes. And anybody who is lower, come and join us. We are here to elevate the vibe. So and where are you doodling from? Let me know that as well. I am here currently in Washington, D.C., and spring has certainly sprung, and the weather is getting warm and the humidity is rising. So any time is a good time to start a new practice. And the seasons teach us that it's a constant, ongoing process of change. So if you're ready to embrace a season of change on a macro level, on a micro level, you're in the right place. So, oh Barbara, you're in Northern California. Oh, that's wonderful. Well done. Glad to have you here. Evelina, you're feeling a 9. Oh my goodness, we've got some good vibes here. I love it. Love it, love it. All right, so before we get doodling, I like to start off these sessions with a little card draw, just for some additional high vibes and for some reminders of what we might choose to focus on while we're doing our doodling, some additional little nudges for contemplation. So let us see, I've got this, my trusty pack of well-being wisdom cards. That's what we're drawing from today. So while I shuffle, get yourself comfortable, get yourself ready to do some doodling with pens, pencils, papers, journal. You can also do it digitally. I do mine digitally. So get your tablet. Oh, I should probably plug mine in while I think of it. Get your tablet, get your pen, get something to drink, and maybe a pillow, and settle in for today's session. And let's see what our reminder for contemplation for today is. Lines. How appropriate for a doodle session. Lines. I give myself permission to paint outside the lines of life. How beautiful is that? I give myself permission to paint outside the lines of life. So, doodling to our own, beating our own drum. I love that. I give myself permission to paint outside the lines of life. Do things your own way. What does that conjure for you? What does that bring to mind for you? How is it relevant for you? If you reflect on the week that you've had, giving yourself permission to paint outside the lines of life. I would love to know. For me that resonates in general this week, and life in general. I always like to do things just a little bit differently, just a little bit, to the side of what the majority do. Just is the nature of things. All right, and then the next way that we enter into this doodle session is through a little breathing exercise, getting present to the moment. And in fact, today I'm going to do something differently. We're going to warm up our hands because this is a sensory practice. This is a sensory active meditation, and we are using our body parts. So although our mind is concentrated and focused, our body is active. It is, although repetitive, it is an active participant in the practice. And part of the mindfulness aspect of doodling is being aware of how your body is feeling. So pay attention to how you are seated right now, the parts of your body that are in touch with whatever furniture or the floor or whatever you're sitting on. Just pay attention to the sensation of those parts that are in contact with inanimate objects. And then bring your focus and attention to your hands. And let's just warm up our wrists to begin with, because we do use our wrists in our doodling. And the awareness, the physical awareness of our body is recognizing that everything is linked. As we are focusing our mind on the page or on the screen, our hand, our fingers, our wrist, our elbow, our shoulder, our neck, our eyes, it's all part of the experience. And yet we are focused on what we're doing, and we can become unaware of the impact on the rest of our body. So we're gonna just send some love to these parts of our body that are most involved in the doodling session. So take a nice deep breath. Our breath is also very much an active participant in the doodling exercise, in the doodling practice, because we can release any pent-up energy. Taking some deep breaths, rotating our wrists, and now change directions. Taking some nice deep breaths in. Okay, and now stretch your hands out. Stretch them as big as you can. Make them giant hands. I do have big hands, but I feel like the camera is making them seem even bigger. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then flex and extend your wrists. Flex and extend your wrists. Just giving them a nice little stretch, all those little muscles, all those little tendons, stretching, warming up. Feel the heat in your wrist, and maybe just do a little wave as well, left and right. Take a nice deep breath in, fill your lung to capacity, and let it go, let it out. In. And on the next inhalation, draw the air into the front and the back of your lungs. Normally, we're told to draw the air into the bottom of our lungs, and I'm going to do things a little differently because we're drawing outside of the lines. So inhale deeply and imagine that air going to the front of your lungs and to the back of your lungs. So it's pushing outward this way and outwards behind you. And keep moving your wrists. So inhale to the front and the back. And exhale. Inhale to the front and the back. And exhale. And now we're going to just loosen up our fingers. Do some little stars. Keep breathing deeply, front and back. And then the next in-breath, think of your breath going sideways, so to the sides of your rib cage. Okay, keep flicking your fingers. Next inhalation, going sideways. Imagine that breath going left and right to the edges of your lungs. Okay, rolling your shoulders back. Keep breathing. Okay, and then lastly, bring your awareness to your fingers, and we're going to fold them in one by one, and then in reverse. So thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, bringing out your pinky finger, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumb. And then wave your fingers about. Keep breathing. Okay. How are you feeling now? Hopefully nice and warmed up and ready to do some doodling. All right. Gonna just switch over the camera. Today is one of our alphabet series, doodles. If you're new here, we have alternating series, and one of the series, please let me know if you can see the screen okay, if it is in focus for you. On my camera, it looks, on the recording camera, it looks in focus, but on screen, it looks a little bit blurry to me. So please let me know if it is in focus for you. So if you are new here, we have alternating creative doodling sessions. One week we do an alphabet letter, and another week we do other random type of doodles. Okay, so hi Inga, good to see you. The corners are blurry, but the G is clear. Slightly blurry, but it's okay. All right, hopefully, is that better? And if I turn that, the G, the center, as long as the center bit here is in focus, that is what I am aiming for. I will just change my aperture a little bit. It will get a bit darker, but I think perhaps the focus is preferable to the lightness. Okay, all right, so hopefully that should be okay for you to see. All right. There we go. Hopefully that is sufficient. Center is okay. Okay, good, 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 good. All right, that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so let me just start this. Okay, so this is what we are, sorry, there we go. This is what we are drawing today. This is our G. So if you are new here, obviously we have been doing this for a little while. And the way that we do it is obviously drawing the outline of our G. And then we will be filling with the different doodle designs. I make use of a spinning wheel that tells us which doodle designs we're going to be doing and how many of the doodle designs we're going to be doodling today. If you would like to, and I will be showing you on the screen here what doodle we are active with, but if you want to get your hands on all of the samples or the examples of these doodles, then as I said in my teacher profile, there is a link where you can go and download it absolutely free, and there is also a video associated with that to show you how to do the actual doodle, because oftentimes it can look rather complicated, but then when you break it down, you notice that it is actually quite simple, as most things in life, and that is a great lesson, I think, in breaking down complicated tasks into their simpler, one step at a time. Okay, so grab a new piece of paper and let us draw our G. It can be in whichever shape you like, in whichever color you like, using whatever pen you like. Doesn't matter, as long as there is enough space for you to doodle on the inside. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay. Does not need to be perfect at all. So that is my G. And we're going to be filling this G with our doodles. Okay. Right, so now we're going to get the wheel to tell us how many different doodles are we going to doodle today. So the number of sections, let's see. And please let me know if you've got any questions. Okay, wow, we've got 6 sections today. Of course, if you don't feel like following what the wheel says, you don't have to. You get to paint outside the lines of life. You get to choose for yourself. But if you want to follow along, then please do. So just divide it into 6 different sections. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then we're going to have a different doodle design in each of the sections. Okay. And so what we will do is now we're going to spin the wheel. There are 50 different doodle designs. Let me just reset this. And so all of them are numbered 1 to 50, and we will see what comes up. So the first one is number 35. So I'm going to import it here so that you've got it on screen as a reference if you don't yet have the reference sheet in front of you. Number 35. That is number 35. So there we go. That's number 35. That is what we're going to be painting or doodling first. And so again, this could possibly, if you're new to doodling, this could possibly look a little bit daunting to start with, but it's very, very simple. So choose whichever section it is that you want to have this particular doodle design. You don't have to copy me. You can do things your own way. And you're going to start with simply doing some squirrely whirly shapes. I actually really like this pattern. And they can branch off from each other as well. And move your page around. Remembering your breath. You can make them as big or as small as you want. Okay. And once you've got the number of squirrely whirlies that you want in the space, you're then going to outline the groups of squirrely whirlies. And that, yes, is an official term. I'm kidding, of course. I always find my first few doodles when I start, I find that there's a warm-up period. My hand feels not quite so loose yet, even though we did do our warm-ups. And that's completely normal if you're feeling not quite flowy with your doodling, that's okay. And you can take your time with it as well. There's no race. If you bump up against other squirrely whirlies, you can either enclose the container or anticipate where the neighboring container will be. And when you come up against another container, maybe it goes behind. It creates the effect of going behind. If you are wondering if time is on your mind, that is okay. There is a replay to set your mind at ease if you have to leave early at any point, or maybe you're just watching the live session right now and you're not actually following along and doodling. Maybe it's not convenient. You can always go and watch the replay. You'll find all the links in my teacher profile or in the description of the video if you're watching this on other channels. Take a nice deep breath. Okay. As we have 6 different doodle designs today, our containers will be slightly smaller. So once you've got your containers over your squirrely whirlies, we're then going to fill in the negative space with thin stripes. And they don't need to be perfect. They don't need to be straight. They're just there, next to each other. You can decide how close together you want it. And usually it's the repetitive patterns that start to bring a sense of presence and calm, focus. Your mind starts to loosen the threads of the knots that have pulled tight during the week. And this drawing is for nobody except for yourself. Nobody needs to see it. There is no competition. There is no judgment. It's not about what it looks like, it is about the practice. I'm just using a cloth on my screen because it is very humid here in DC. And in our apartment building, they haven't yet turned off the heating. So we can't put the AC on. We have the windows wide open, but it is very humid. So my hand keeps sticking to the screen. So if you are wondering, that is why. Otherwise my hand gets stuck on the screen. Hi Pim, you're new to this. Which doodle app can you recommend? There are so many. There are so many apps. In fact, I think I should write an article and share it. It also depends on which device you're on, whether you're on a Apple device or an Android device or a Windows device. I'm currently using Procreate, which is kind of the industry standard in the Apple world. But I also make use of Concepts app. I believe Adobe Fresco is a good option. Apple also comes with Freeform, inherently built in. Sketchbook, I think it's called Sketchbook. That's actually the app that I started on. But I would need to properly research and write about which apps are specifically Apple or Android. Notice the sensations in your body, your shoulders, your neck. And feel free, in fact, I encourage you to move around, move your body. For about a month and a half, I've moved, maybe 2 months, I moved to a floor desk. So I sit on the floor on yoga blocks. And it has been quite a journey because I do sit for hours at the computer while I doodle and draw and do computery things. And what I thought at first was a bad thing, that I move so often because it gets so uncomfortable, it's actually the best thing because it makes you more aware of how your body is feeling. So, hi Nicole, good to see you here. Yes, I'm in the DMV, where are you? I'm streaming simultaneously to Substack at the moment as well, in case you are wondering. Thank you Inga. That's good. Ibis, Paint, or Sketchbook for Android. Adobe Fresco on desktop. There we go. Yes, it's such a good community, people who share, and I love that. Okay, so I finished my first doodle, so I'm going to move on to the next one. If you are not yet finished with your section, don't worry about it. You can come back to it, and the invitation is there for you to do exactly that. So I'm going to hide number 35 and go on to our next one. Number 14. So now we will see what is number 14. Let's see. Number 14. 13 and 14. Okay, nice simple one. So we're doing the, what do you call these? The word has escaped me. This is, I can't remember what is the word to describe these. There is a word for this shape. Chevron, thank you. Thank you, Inga, exactly that. Okay. Awesome. Yes, today the wheel chose 6 sections. Grace Ann, yes, thank you. Chevron, herringbone, another good one. Yes, okay, great. I'm glad we've got multiple names. Okay, it's a nice easy one, this one. So I'm just going to move that over to the side as a reference. It is there. Hopefully you can still make it out. Choose which section you're going to fill. I'm going to skip one because giving myself permission to paint outside the lines. So choose which section you want to fill with chevrons or herringbone. Love that. Thank you for the word prompt, and you can decide whether you want to do it your pattern vertically or horizontally. Doesn't matter, completely your choice. I think I'll do mine vertically today. Get my anti-stick. And we're just going to start with parallel lines. Notice the soothingness, soothing nature of repetitive patterns. Okay, and then you can start. You can decide what angle. Hi Inge, I think I saw that your last section line was deleted. Oh, was it? I don't see it. Oh, thank you. You're so... Oh, eagle eyes, Inge. Eagle eyes. Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, it's very sensitive to touch, the Procreate app. A double tap basically, or a long hold, deletes the last action. I should actually change that setting because you can do that. Thank you, I appreciate that so much. And I did it again. When you do the opposite section, you can decide for yourself whether you want to connect the lines, the opposing lines, but you don't have to if you don't want to. There's no right or wrong in doodling. Bring awareness to your breath. Bring awareness to the parts of your body that are in contact with the furniture. Notice your thoughts. What thoughts are coming up? And in fact, I forgot to mention, with our alphabet series, we use the letter as a prompt to think of the things that we're grateful for, the intentions we want to set for ourselves, the things we might be reflecting on, or just simply things that we're processing. So what G words come to mind? And the invitation here is to think both intentionally about the G words, but also to leave that door open, leave the window open, to let the G words just fly in of their own volition. What G words are you grateful for? Are you setting intentions about? Are you reflecting on? Or are you simply noticing what comes to mind? And the invitation is to then write them down as they come up, so that while you're busy, you're taking note of the G words. So although the humidity of spring is not my favorite thing, the greenery, I'm so grateful to see the trees becoming fuller and fuller with greenery, and the grass becoming luscious and soft. Makes me want to go outside and get my bare feet on the grass. And if you feel called to share what your G words are, please do. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are here to pass on the contagious, high vibes, creative energy. Right? I changed color by mistake. Tell you. Come on. That is where analog doodling beats digital doodling. You don't accidentally delete lines or accidentally pick up an eraser and ruin your work or accidentally change color. Okay, there's a nice simple but effective pattern. Hi Martha, glad to see you here. Welcome. So if you're just tuning in, we are doing 6 different doodle designs in a G, and the G is our prompt to think of things that we're grateful for, things that we are reflecting on, things that we are setting intentions about, and we're allowing the doodle activity to untie the tightness of the knots in our brain, to unravel, let go, untie, and allow these G words to come to mind, to notice what thoughts come to mind. Okay, so moving on to the 3rd doodle. Hi Claire, yes, I will show you the first doodle. Okay, our 3rd one is going to be number 40. The first doodle was this one, with our twirly whirlies, and then encased in a little container, and then the negative space filled with parallel lines. Second one was our chevrons, and then the 3rd one of 3rd of 6 is number 40. Let's see what it is. I'll just bring this here into the middle of the screen. I don't know why it doesn't stay in my, what did we say it was? 40. One of my favorites. So this is doodle design number 40. So a growing circle of petal type shapes with a little vein and 2 dots in each of the leaves, as you can see there, and then we fill the negative space with little circles. Okay, and if you are behind, if you're just joining, you can catch the replay on my other channels. If you are watching this on Insight Timer, the link is in my teacher profile. If you are on the other channels, then the replays will be there wherever you are watching from. Okay, so choose which section of your G you want to fill with the 3rd pattern, and you're going to start from the middle area of that section. So moving your page around. Just creating almost a flower. With petals that don't touch. And then from there, in the gaps between the petals, start going in a wider circle. Adding more petals in a wider circle in the spaces between. And bear in mind the gaps between your petals. The smaller the circles are that you fill it with, the longer and more detailed the doodle becomes. If you've got bigger circles in the gaps, you'll complete it more quickly, but it'll be less detailed. So the choice is yours. And I kind of just cut off the petals at the edges of the container as if they're going off the screen. Remember your breathing. Jamie, hi. Does the wheel of doodle suggestions come from the Procreate app? No, the wheel is a separate app. I do share that as well in the same place where you can get the doodle designs. So I've made everything available because I want everybody to make this part of your weekly, if not daily practice. So everything that I use, I have shared. They're all, are they free? Well, no, Procreate you need to buy. It is a paid app. The wheel, I believe they do have free use of it. But it's all, if you follow the links to get the doodle reference sheet, you will find in the same resource, you will be able to get the link to the wheel. And you can use that as an app on your devices, or you can use it in a browser window as well. I use that wheel for so much. I've created a wheel for helping me with illustration inspiration. In fact, that is a new illustration series that I want to start doing. And I like to draw cats and dogs. And so I have a wheel that helps me decide, am I drawing a cat? Am I drawing a dog? What does it look like? What is the shape? How much detail, texture? I also have a wheel to decide what to do on the weekend. Go for a walk or go for a picnic. I even have a wheel for my Pomodoro breaks to encourage me to get up from behind the computer screen and do some stretches or some exercises to move, get the blood flowing again, whether it's squats or planks or whatever it might be. Gamifying creativity and healthy habits. Okay, so once you have filled your petals with the lines and the two little dots, then you can start with the circles in between. And as I said, it depends up to you how big the circles will be. The smaller they are, the longer it will take. Oh, Grace Ann. Grace, glory, goddess, Gaia, yes. Love those words. Yes. And it was Earth Day this week, so very apt. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. When I was putting the 3 dots on the leaves, I said each of my 3 children's names as I was doing it. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. I'm just going to move position here. Yes, bringing to mind, that's exactly you can use this as mantra practice, as contemplation, as gratitude practice. I love that. I'm gonna put good music. Good music this week has been a theme and an intentional activity I've been working on. Generosity, call to mind any acts of generosity you experienced this week. Allow the repetitive nature of this particular pattern to just let your mind wander, let it go. Let your hand find its rhythm, loosen the muscles in your fingers, loosen your grip, and just let the repetitive pattern flow. Grill. We had our first outside, in South Africa we call it a braai. I think in America it's called a grill, in the UK barbecue. So we had our first grilling this week because the weather was nice. It's lovely to have these sessions to specifically think back on each day of the week, you know. It's so busy sometimes that the week just blurs into a kind of grey memory. And the little moments of magic that happen in between all the adulting and the work, they kind of just get swallowed up. So these sessions help us to go in search, seek them out and highlight them for yourself. Make them meaningful, make them stand out, contrast them against the noise. That's why journaling is so valuable. And this is kind of like a precursor to journaling because it does separate you from the busy work. It gives those magic moments a chance to shine. Roll your shoulders if you're feeling or noticing that you have fallen forward, that you're hunching. Pull your shoulder blades towards each other. Just inverting the inherent position that we naturally adopt while we're drawing. Try and notice if your thoughts are still so dominant or if you're kind of zoning into just observing your pen making marks. Are you feeling a shift in any way? When you concentrate, when you're in the zone, your breathing tends to slow. There's a physical response or effect. When your thoughts slow down, so does your body. And when your body slows down, so does your thoughts. It is a feedback system after all. Notice if you get impatient with the intricate details of a doodle. There's no judgment, just notice. When I first started doodling, I did notice that I would get impatient when it came to doing intricate doodle patterns like this, because I just wanted to get it done. I wanted to have done it, but the doing of it was hard. And oftentimes many of us feel that way about our creative endeavors, that the doing of it can be frustrating because it can be tedious or challenging or frustrating, but we want the outcome. So just notice where you're at. It's completely normal if you are feeling impatience with this part of the doodle. It's all about awareness. I read a great quote this morning. I can't remember who the author is. I shall have to look that up. But basically, as an author, she said that she hates writing, but she loves having written. I feel that way about running and exercise. So it's completely normal to feel that. And some doodles are quick, and some take time. It's the witnessing of our response where the gift lies. Sure. That felt very meditative. I hope you felt or are feeling the same effect. How are you doing? How are you going? Rolling the shoulders, release. That was a long stretch, that one. Bring focus and attention to the physical nature of it. Notice how your brain feels. Thank you for the love. That is a good design. It's a juicy one. Yes, 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 yes. Glad you're feeling it. Okay, let's move on to the next design. If you haven't finished this one, that is okay. The invitation is for you to come back to it, to make this a regular practice, whether we do it together or on your own. Okay, number 19. Let's see which pattern is number 19. Number 19. Here we go. Very similar, except less detailed, but still a leafy design. And I start this one usually around the edges. There's no rule on the number of leaves in any given bunch of leaves, just going around the edges and then eventually filling in all the little spaces with other leaves that kind of morph into and move into that space. And then we fill the negative space in. Okay, so moving on from here. Again, one of my favorite doodle designs. Choose where you want it. Okay. Oh dear, accidentally changed to eraser. Feel the flowiness of this one. You know, nature, I love, and I admire my plants, just their resilience. And I've got a couple of plants in pots around the apartment, and they just find a way of growing. They grow into the spaces available. They grow into any little gap they find. Their top priority is just growing. I think we can learn a lot about ourselves if we observe plants. Let's prioritize growth in whatever shape. Hey, that's a good G word, growth. In whatever shape it comes. If it's a little growth spurt or a big growth spurt. If there's a little gap or a big gap. It all counts. It all adds to the design. We are designing ourselves every day. As we grow, we're contributing. A sticky hand. find any gap you can to grow into. And start growing from anywhere. I'm loving this analogy. Doesn't matter where you start, there's always somewhere to grow from. And then when you think you're done, you'll find more spaces for growth. Okay, and when you feel like you've filled all the gaps you want, maybe one more here, and one here. Okay, now you can start to add the central line, the central vein. And here you go, Grace Ann. More dots for your kids. 1, 2, 3. Love that inspiration. What do your 3 dots represent? Okay. And the final stage of this pattern is then filling in the negative space between the leaves. And I always kind of remind myself of the value of filling in this negative space, and the analogy or the metaphor for the value of contrast in life. That in order to see lightness, there has to be darkness. So it's these little reminders that bring in the mindfulness aspect of doodling. And you can see the impact of the filling in of the negative space on the design. There we go. There's our fourth design. 2 more spaces to go, 2 more designs to go. How are you doing? Let's do some movements. Stretch our hands a little bit, get the blood flowing, and move on to our next design. If you haven't completed yours, don't worry. It's not a race. I'm just mindful of the container of time. So I shall move on to the next one, number 18. Let's see, which is number 18. Ooh, another awesome one. I do like this one. These are kind of like tropical banana leaves. Makes me think of tropical banana leaves. I don't know what it conjures for you, but it looks like a kind of, yeah, tropical leaf. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So any negative space that we have on this one, we're then filling with, again, some lines in the background, and you can decide whether it lands up being vertical or horizontal. Decide where you want your tropical leaves to be, and they're kind of layered, so you draw them as if they fall one on top of the other. It's a pile of leaves. I'm drawing mine quite big because the lines on the inside, they're kind of, actually, funnily enough, another chevron type shape. So it goes well with our previous chevron pattern. And you can make out as if the leaves go off the screen. And then we start with the outlines of each of the leaves. So adding just a border following the shape of the leaves. Nothing needs to be perfect, as you can see. Hi CJ, you're having a ball, I'm so glad. You just picked up a new computer and this is your first time creating digital doodles. Yay, you're popping your digital doodle cherry. No special drawing software yet, so I'm just using what I have at hand, a stylus pen and the native paint app. Yay, well that just goes to show that you don't need anything fancy, you can just start with what you've got. Yay, well done. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That is the intention. Okay, so once we've got the outlines of the leaves, we then put the central vein down the middle. Yeah, sometimes we can overcomplicate and convince ourselves that we can't do a thing because we don't have X, Y, or Z. Don't have the technology, or don't have the skill, don't have the knowledge, don't have the time, don't have the fill in the blank. And, well, I'm a firm believer in if you were given the inspiration for something, you will find a way to execute. I really do. I live by that. Okay, and so then once we've got our leaf outlines, we're then going to come in with the chevron pattern. Come on. I have another G word, grounding. I want to do more of it. I find doodling an excellent practice in grounding, but I definitely want to get my bare feet on the grass. And I received a couple of nudges this week about the value, benefits of grounding. Reminders to do more of it with intention. Giggling is another good one. A reminder to do more of that. Find more reasons to giggle. It's good for the body, good for the soul. If you have space left between your leaves, you can then fill the negative space with horizontal lines. I feel like I'm just going to make out like this as a leaf in the background because it's the only negative space I have. So I will make out as if it is a leaf in the background and then the whole space is just filled with leaves. There we go. Okay, penultimate space done. Guffawing. Zenvira, good to see you. Guffawing is also good and sounds like less ladylike. There's nothing like a good guffaw. When last did you have a good, proper guffaw? That's such a great word. Thank you. I do like that. You guys are awesome. Okay, let's go for our last doodle design for the day. Nice little alliteration. Let's see what the wheel says. The wheel of doodle. Wrong one. There we go. Generosity, yes, love it. Okay, doodle number 8 is our final doodle. Let's have a look, see which one it is. Doodle number 8. Aha, more botanical themes. If you haven't realized, I really like botanical doodles. Okay, cool. So this is like a mishmash of botanicals. So really there's no rules here. Flowers, fronds, and more flowers and leaves. So you can just kind of go wild, let your creative juices flow. By now you're well warmed up, and invite that creative freedom into the last little space. I do like to start with a flower as kind of like a central theme. Zenvira, you went to a very funny show at the weekend and guffawed big time. Also when I was hanging out with my sister yesterday. Amazing. Love that for you. Grace Ann, I'm referring to it as a flow state instead of negative state. Nice reframe. Love that, flow state. Yes. That's awesome. Let us go into our flow state with this final doodle design. And you can decide how you want to start. The botanicals are layered upon each other, so they bump up against each other. And yeah, just start wherever you want. Oftentimes that is just the toughest part, is getting started. Just give yourself permission. Like the card told us, I give myself permission to paint outside the lines of life. Give yourself permission to start wherever. And I have accidentally changed my color. I like that reframe, Grace. That makes me, Grace Ann, that makes me reflect on the power of words. And going forward, I will rather use the word gaps, fill in the gaps, rather than negative space. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay. I don't have the biggest of space here. That's okay, we'll make it work. You know who makes me guffaw? I love watching a little Michael McIntyre video clip. I know he's not everybody's taste, but I just think he's, for a little, in fact there's two, for a good proper bite-sized guffaw, whenever I feel like I need like just that little giggle, or, you know, a little bit of energy. Michael McIntyre, and then there's a channel called Rockstar, and it's huge on YouTube, and I don't know who who the creator is, but he takes people's pet videos and gives them voices, and it's just the funniest thing. It's so silly and so simple, but it makes me giggle. Oh, I love it. Doing that. Okay. Right, the space is filling up quickly. There's not a lot of it. And so, I think I will call that a day on this pattern, filling in the gaps. I'm mindful that we have gone over the time of 90 minutes. So I will invite you to complete the final section on your own. I will do so as well. If you feel at all inclined to share your final completed doodle, you can do so. I have a link on Insight Timer in my teacher profile, the same place where you can get the doodle reference sheet. That is also where you can share your doodles if you want to, and please feel free to share them. I do love receiving them, especially when you share what you've created on your own outside of these sessions. It's amazing to me to see you nurturing this practice, because I know how valuable it is, and I just want everybody to experience the active, meditative mindfulness that comes with this practice. And also there's just such beauty in the simplicity of just enjoying a doodle. It's an act of self-care. So yeah, I will leave it there. Open space. Yes, Jack. Yes, open space. I love that. Fill the open space. Yes. Such a good lesson for us as well. What are we filling our open space with? Be intentional about what we fill our open space with. So I will leave you there. I want to thank you so much for joining in this doodle session. It is always so wonderful to share with you. This is a co-creation, and I appreciate you showing up, not just for me, but for yourself. And I do hope, I'd love to just do a quick little rating in the comments section. Let me know what is your rating out of 10 right now, if you've been doodling along or if you've just been listening in the background. What's your measure right now on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being not so great, 10 being amazing. I'd love to see if there has been any upward trajectory, any upward growth in your temperature gauge. I would say that, yeah, I've definitely gone to an 8, possibly even a 9, starting at 7 this morning. So I'm also very grateful that the tech worked today, because it hasn't always worked out, but today apparently is a good day. So yay. Hi, Metis River. I popped in from curiosity and oddly had my mini sketchbook and pens nearby. Yay! You're so welcome. I'm so glad. Yay, serendipities, serendipities. So glad that this popped up for you, that you got some benefit from it. Grace Ann, new office artwork in honor of my new name. The G was perfect for my silent retreat this week. Yay, that's wonderful. Yay, Grace Ann. CJ, definitely a 9 to 10 now. Yay, that is awesome. Feeling the good vibes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up, sharing your good vibes. I'm definitely feeling the effects of that. Please do continue to doodle whenever you need to, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. It's a good practice. Doodle while you're coffee in the morning, or doodle when you have open space in your day. I think that's been a great theme that we've taken away from today's session. Be mindful of your open spaces, be mindful of your gaps, and be intentional about how you fill them. Instead of scrolling, perhaps the invitation is to doodle instead. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining. If you want to get the resources, check out the link if you're on Insight Timer in my teacher profile. All the links are there. If you're on my other platforms, you'll find the links to those same resources as well. So we'll have another session, same time, same place next week. I haven't created them yet, so they'll be there in the next couple of days. But otherwise, follow me so that you do get the notifications popping up for you. Inge, thank you. And also your work you had with the book of 50 doodles, actually 51. Yes, it is actually 51. But 50 was a rounder number. I'm glad you found that useful. Yeah. So go and get those resources if you haven't, and there is an accompanying video to show you how to do every one of the doodles as well. All right, everyone, have yourself a fantastic weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the love. I appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate your follows. I appreciate your engagement and showing up, and I appreciate the future sharing of your doodles as well. Let me know how it goes for you, and I will see you in next week's doodle session. Yay, thank you. Feeling the love. You laughed reading your post about how you came to that. Oh, yes. Yes. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again.